Hello my fellow Americans, welcome to Liberty Prime, where we talk about politics and crap. And when I woke up this morning, I checked Twitter as I usually do because I don't really have much to do in the morning. But I saw a hashtag abolish the police trending. And as I'm sure you can all agree, that is, I don't want to say it's stupid, but it's stupid. It's retarded. It is illogical nonsense. They want to punish all of the police officers because of the sins of a few, and that would not abide. And really, if they actually cared about Black lives, shouldn't they, decide, let's give more funding to police? But if you abolish the police altogether, then guess what's going to happen? Crime rate skyrockets. Deaths skyrockets. And in turn, more Black people die. Wow, what a shocker, guys. I can't believe that abolishing the police would lead to crime and people dying. It really is stupid. And I actually heard some of their arguments, or not heard, but I've seen some of their arguments that they say that some of the police are not as trained or whatever, and that might be contributing to the Black people dying, which, first off, no. But second off, don't go abolishing the police or defunding the police, because then police officers will be less trained. They're not having enough funding to weed out all the bad people. So if you actually care about Black lives, if you don't want them being harmed, using your own argument, you would give a bunch of funding to the police. Probably take it away from your stupid environmental agencies or whatever crap that we really, really don't need, and give it to the police officers. And then with that, they'll have more money and funding to weed out the bad people. Like, was it? I don't remember who killed George Floyd, which was bad, by the way. I'm thinking Derek Chauvin. That might be Trayvon Martin. I don't keep up with these names. I don't keep up with these names because I don't want to remember them, because half of them, no, not half of them, like 90% of them, probably 99%, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. 90% of them are bullcrap, so I'm not going to remember the names. But anyway, you don't, if you want to stop all the George Floyds, which was unjust, then you give the officers more funding. You give them more training, and then the departments, they can actually spend money on, say, psych evaluations and better stuff, so that these bad people, they do not become police officers. They get off the force. And the Black Lives Matter movement, they just want to harm all all officers, which would include Black officers too. They want to harm all officers because of the sins of a few. And by a few, I mean it is a few officers that are unjust. Like, take George Floyd. That's like the first incident in, like, what, 5 years, 10 years, something like that. I don't keep track with all these dates, to be honest, because I don't care about them. But that was actually unjust. We can have middle ground there. But those killings like those, they don't happen a lot. Statistics, I can't speak today. Statistics show that officers are actually not shooting Black people left and right because they don't want to be accused of being called racist, which doesn't have any meaning anymore. All thanks to Black Lives Matter, because everything's racist. And I just want to point out, I think it's a brilliant strategy to get rid of racism. When everything's racist, nothing is. Anyway, yeah. So I think it was in 2019. There was 1,000 killings. Fraction of that was Black, and a fraction of those Black people were unarmed, which shows that cops aren't just shooting people left and right. And I believe it was like 41 people who were unarmed, and you might say, oh, that's bad. Well, in Ferguson, Missouri, with, I believe it was Michael Brown, he was unarmed. That does not mean you're not dangerous. And all the facts show that narrative that Black people are being shot left and right because of racism or crap like that is just untrue. So with their false narrative, they harm every police officer because of the sin of, again, a few. And you may say, well, no, it's not a few, because I keep hearing about them. Well, yeah, you keep hearing about them because the media covers the heck out of them. And, I mean, that's what the media does. They don't want the story of the good guy saving the day, because that's what the good guy is supposed to do. The good police officer is supposed to save the baby from the burning building. Stuff like that. That's their job. That's not eye-opening, although you might say, good on him, but that's not what catches your eye. What catches your eye is, imagine this headline, officer shoots an unarmed man who said, hands up, don't shoot. That is what's eye-catching, and that's what gets people's attention, and that's how the media works. That's how it always works. Regardless of whether it's true or not, the entire media, every single media, from left to right, it's all a scam. Basically, it's all a scam. And it was Thomas Jefferson, I believe, he said, the man who reads nothing at all is more educated than the man who reads newspapers. This goes to show that the newspaper is a sham. And they don't care if they're lying or not, they just want money. They just want revenue from people buying their news, or, well, no one reads newspapers anymore, but watch time and all that stuff. So that's why you hear this whole narrative of Black lives being shot, because the media covers the heck out of it when it happens. And sometimes they'll cover the same people who are being shot, who are probably criminals, over and over and over again, like tri-annually, quad-annually, and so on and so on. But that's just not reality. Cops are not doing this. And more often than not, if the black guy gets shot, it's because he was doing something bad. And with Black Lives Matter, the whole thing about them is that they do not wait for evidence. They just don't. Take this new one. Was it Jacob Blake, who was shot in front of his family? I don't know the whole story. But here's how the timeline is unfolding. Person gets shot, protests, and then investigation. That's how it always is for Black Lives Matter. They don't wait. And then, because they're not waiting, they don't tell the people, oh hey, well, you know what, turns out, Michael Brown in Ferguson, he was actually trying to attack the officer, but that doesn't matter. You don't need to, we'll just pretend we didn't see that. Then people, they protest, and they keep protesting the same guy, and it creates this whole false narrative where black people are being shot, and that's just not true. And now with abolish the police, because the whole false narrative is now that police are just shooting people, where they're like, well, screw the police, they're shooting people. So that's just abolish them altogether, which would be a logical conclusion if it turned out black people were actually being shot the way they are, but they're not. And when it comes down to it, again, they're punishing a few officers because of the sin of a few. And it's stupid. That's what it is. And Black Lives Matter, they need to be telling their people the truth. You have your George Floyds, but you also have your Michael Browns, your Trayvon Martins, people who were attacking the officers or trying to attack the officers. And this country is going to crap, and a lot of it is probably because of Black Lives Matter with their lies. They keep lying. Or either that or they're ignorant. They just don't realize that the facts are out. They create an entire false narrative that just builds upon until we reach a climax where the nation erupts into a civil war because of a bunch of lies spread by Black Lives Matter. And it was, I believe, Steven Crowder said this. One of his, he said in a video, I don't remember all the rules, but he said one of the rules for politics and whatever is wait for all the evidence to be released. Okay? So with Jacob Blake, that guy gets killed, should not be protests. It should be, guy gets killed, investigation, protest if the investigation concludes that it was unjust. And if the investigation concludes that the officer was actually right in killing the person, then you get to then you don't get to protest. That's how it is, but Black Lives Matter never does that. So and this goes for right-wing politics, left-wing politics, this goes for everyone. When something crazy happens, wait. Sleep on it. Just like, oh hey, person got killed. No, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for all the evidence to come up. And evidence, this includes eyewitness testimonies, reliable eyewitness testimonies, body cam footage, and medical examiners, autopsies, things like that. Those are the three most important things in waiting for it. And if all three things conclude that the guy was unjust, well, Go protest all you want, but you should at least wait for all the evidence to be released. Okay? That's all I have to say for today. Hopefully you can have a good day today and not have to worry about a bunch of bullcrap politics. But remember, my friends, stay safe.